On our wedding anniversary, I saw a rare display of blue fireworks on Abigail's alternate Instagram account. The caption read, "Fireworks are fleeting, but our relationship is eternal." Through an ongoing livestream, I overheard their conversation. "Between me and your wife, who do you like more?" "Of course, it's you," Simon, my husband, answered immediately. 5 minutes later, the post was deleted, and Simon called me via video to show me the fireworks live. "Happy anniversary. This is the surprise I prepared for you." On hearing his words, my heart felt dead inside. After ending the call, I calmly dialed another number. "Brian, I've made up my mind. I'm accepting the offer from that company abroad. Will Simon let you go?" he asked. His voice was tinged with confusion. Taking a deep breath, I replied, "He and we won't last much longer." After hanging up, I was so distracted that I spilled the hot soup. A large patch of my arm turned red, and small blisters began to form. I numbly searched the living room for the first aid kit and started treating the burn myself. Today was our first wedding anniversary. Simon had promised we would celebrate it together. Because of that, I happily prepared a candlelit dinner for us tonight. But no matter how long I waited, he never came home. If it weren't for Abigail's social media post, I would never have known just how much he loathed this marriage. It felt like countless needles were stabbing at my heart. I lay in a daze on the sofa until Simon returned, visibly exhausted. "How did you burn yourself like this?" The moment he approached, he noticed the redness on my arm. "It's nothing. I just spilled some hot soup," I replied indifferently. Only then did he notice the lavish spread of dishes in the dining room. A flicker of guilt flashed across his eyes. "Let me help you with the ointment." Before I could refuse, he had already picked up a cotton swab and skillfully applied the medicine, wrapping the wound for me. From childhood to now, every time I got hurt, it was always him who meticulously tended to my injuries. After doing it so often, he would eventually grow annoyed. "Can't you watch where you're going? If something serious happens, you'll be the one crying." Though his words carried blame, they were full of care. But at some point, that care began to fade. It was about a year ago, when Abigail appeared and everything started to change. The first time I noticed something unusual between Simon and Abigail was on the eve of our wedding. He had never been one to depend on his phone much, but during that time, he kept it with him constantly. I casually asked about it, and he snapped, "Valerie, what on earth are you thinking about every day? Abigail and I are just chatting normally. Do you have to be so petty?" I was so angry that I cried. Seeing my tears, Simon softened his tone and gently comforted me. "All right, starting today, I won't talk to her anymore." Right in front of me, he blocked and deleted her contact. His apparent sincerity made me lower my guard. It wasn't until yesterday that I woke up to the truth. Their connection had never been severed. My thoughts returned to the present. After bandaging my arm, Simon took it upon himself to reheat the food. "There was an issue at work today that caused the delay. Next time, I'll come home earlier," Simon said after chewing. I gave a vague response, ate a few bites, and said nothing more. Then his phone began to buzz with messages again. I glanced at the screen and a bitter smile tugged at the corner of my lips. "I drank a bit too much tonight and can't remember the way back, Simon, I'm so scared." Almost instantly, his expression changed as he scrolled through the messages. "There's an issue at the office. I need to step out for a bit. You should go to bed early," he stated and sprang to his feet. Before I could respond, Simon had already put on his coat and hurried out the door without a backward glance. For the first time, I didn't ask where he was going. I didn't even call to check. The onboarding email from the company arrived quickly. They requested I start in 2 weeks. Without hesitation, I agreed. 2 weeks would be enough time to settle everything.